he tried to take it off under his mouth. Oh.
Shaking hands, like a politician.
He said he wanted to
Like a good coach.
so he's blue and took it off under his mouth.
You want to get that one instead of the elevator?
There it is.
I'll load that. Just about.
You didn't want to take it, they said,
Yeah.
you were saying it over there.
Each one.
We just want to see
Little
how.
cardio in.
There it is. That's good stuff there too.
Good to see you. I heard you go over. I mean, I got you, I got you,
I don't want to get in here and say nothing stupid about it.
Good evening,
Sure
sir.
about some of that.
Good evening, everyone. This is the postgame press conference following semifinal 2 of the 2026 Southern Conference Men's Basketball Championship. We're going to join by the Furman Paladins. We have with us head coach Bob Richey, along with student athletes Charles Johnston, Alex Wilkins, and Cooper Bowser. If you do have a question, raise your hand, and we will get the mic to you. Give your media entity and name before, and then we'll have an opening statement from Coach and then questions. Coach, floor is yours.
Well, just what we've all been accustomed to around here on semifinal Saturday and Sunday. 2 classic games, and both ways, both semifinal games were incredible. Came down to the end, and fortunately we were on the positive end of it. A lot of credit to Greensboro, and I got a lot of respect for them. They really started playing really well towards the end of the year. And Mike Jones, I've known him really since I was in high school, ironically enough, since he was an assistant at Furman. And the not putting this on the media or anything, but just a friend and somebody I have a lot of respect for. The talk about, oh, he hadn't done this in Asheville and all that. All that stuff is complete nonsense. And that guy has coached his tail off every single year, and his program has stayed at the top of the league. And sometimes, man, in this business, you get a little too accustomed to win, and win is hard. And he's done an unbelievable job there. And to see him come into the tournament and then to play well on Friday night and to get that big win yesterday and to see how they fought today and just to see the fight that they continue to play with, I just think Coach Jones does a heck of a job. And they beat us up in the first half pretty good. That was pretty clear. They were the aggressors from the jump of the game. Right from the jump ball, they ran offensive tip play there, and they got it. And then they missed a shot, and they got the rebound. They put it in, and then I felt like for the next 4 or 5 minutes they just came right at us. And I thought they were playing with a lot more physicality than we were. But you know what? I told this team all week. We've been through a lot, and just because you've been through a lot doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that you have an opportunity to grow and you've got opportunity to learn. And I really felt as we prepped for this week that a lot of the adversity that we faced in different points of the year were going to pay off, and they were going to turn into purposeful moments in this tournament. And we've had some games like we played tonight in the first half. We had one of those last Saturday in Colby. And, not being able to turn really our tone and our spirit, and letting it get down and not being able to rise through it. And we had a pretty, just direct conversation at halftime about it of what we had to go do. And it wasn't schematic. We just had to go out there and we had to play with a better spirit. We had to be the aggressor. And, we couldn't go out there and have any self-pity. Like, we can't go out there and play passive. The game's not going to change. And to our credit, we went from one of the worst offensive first halves of the year to one of the best offensive halves in the second half. I think we scored 54 in the second half there and shot 72% from the floor. And credit all these guys. Obviously Alex had a night. I love him to death. I didn't know what was going on in the first half. But you know what, again, we just gotta take this for granted. He's a freshman. He does what he does on a nightly basis. But he's having to continue to grow. And you saw another step in his maturity tonight. And he put on a show in the second half, but it was a collected effort. You got the rim threats that Cooper was providing early in the half. Obviously they had to figure that out. We ended up widening the floor and spacing a little bit more. Asa comes off the bench, hits that huge 3. Ed Bronson made 2 huge 3s. And then we had multiple guys, making huge defensive plays. And we were just able to change the tone of the game a little bit. And then we made the critical plays down there to stretch. But they didn't quit. 45 got loose again, 3 times in a row, just started hitting everything, and we messed up that double ball screen there. But fortunately, again, all we heard about in the preseason or early season, we couldn't make free throws, but now we're making free throws pretty well. I think we went 22 of 25 tonight, and then we had to do the close game. So proud of these guys up here, and we know it's March, it's players rise up, and we had a couple rise up tonight, we had a whole team rise up. So we're excited to be able to put on the jersey one more day.
Third row.
Justin Mathis with Daily Joseph Hoops. This is for Alex. What did you have to do in that second half to really help get things going on the offensive end of the floor?
It was really just my leaders just telling me to keep my head high. All the work you put in the gym by yourself, just keep trusting it and trust your teammates like I always do. But really just my teammates in the huddle just continue to talk to me. This guy right here to my right was phenomenal. So was he even when he went out. Just keep my head high and making sure that I just stay focused and not foul and just continue to play team ball.
Second row.
Charles, a game with UNCG is going to be tough. It's going to be aggressive. You're going to have to stand up to it. And that was, I don't believe it, it's sort of amazing. There were a lot of 50-50 balls this area, 20-80 balls that you turned into 50-50 balls. There was a lot of people on the floor, and it seemed like to me that, particularly inside of UNCG, that was just a battle.
Yeah, it has been the previous two games we've played them. They're a big physical team, and they try and they did a good job in the first half of imposing that kind of idea of they're going to try and punk us, and we didn't match up to it very well in the first half, and we gave a good response in the second. Cole's getting on the floor like he's always been doing. A couple other guys getting to loose balls, and we responded a lot better in the second half, and I think that's why we found so much success. But yeah, it was a big talk about just trying to be more physical going into that second half, and I think we did a good job.
Front row.
Scott Keeler from the Sports Report. Coach, yesterday the leading rebounder in the country, Neely, has 24 rebounds. Tonight his team has 24 rebounds, he has 5. I thought that was a huge one of the game, and just tell me about your effort to kind of neutralize it. Obviously he had 27 points, but you hold the leading guy in the country to 5 rebounds and out-rebound them 25-24. Can you speak to that?
I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he puts a lot of. It's really hard. I mean, one thing that Greensboro has done that it's funny how this game works. They weren't winning as much early, but then all of a sudden, around the time they came to our place, and really from the duration of the second half of conference play, they're the second leading 3-point shooting team in our league. And so you get a lot of talk about Neely, but you look at Younger and what he's done. I mean, 60% of attempts in the last 5 games. He shot 48% from 3, so he's shooting. You had Norgard's out there. I mean, 3 huge shots yesterday in the game versus Wofford. And then you saw what 45, what Marvell did tonight. I mean, just making shots. And so what happens, with his ability to face up and drop somebody bigger than him, or to be at a post somebody smaller than him, and the way they space it with the shooting, it's really hard to bring a double at him. And so, we really talked about that we're gonna have to try to make him play through us and not around us. And then really when the ball goes up, we've got to be able to get a body on him. He's elite there. And now the first 2 games in the tournament, they played against, they were playing against the zone, on offense, both those games. And so, the zone was a little bit harder to get a body on him. But we wanted to play a little bit bigger. We started double big and, rotated, these two with Ben a lot. But that was a huge priority going into the game, that we had to go in there and win the glass. We've actually won the glass in both the games that we played with them. And we thought we had to continue that. But his touches, I mean, some of those shots he made, just soft touch, some of those 10-footers. I mean, it's just a unique game, and he's got great presence. And you don't quite know, we tried all 3. We tried Coop on him, we tried Chuck on him, we put Ben on him, and then we kind of settled in. We felt like Ben was doing the best job on him, but then Ben got in foul trouble, so we had to shift around a little bit. But I just, he's good. I mean, he's a problem. He presents a lot of stress when you're trying to put a game plan together against him.
Front row. John, we'll come to you next.
Steve, Greenville Sports Media, and this is for anyone that wants to answer. We had 15 threes tonight. It felt like pretty much all of them came in the last 2 or 3 minutes, just back and forth between the 2 teams. Anybody can kind of just walk us through what that kind of feeling and that energy is like. It's pretty special for everybody that's off the court, but for on the court, I imagine it's a little bit different.
Cooper, you on to?
I mean, the game of basketball right now, just with the 3-point line, is crazy. The deficits that you can go down and just come back is amazing. our team, like really, when we're hitting threes, our energy's a little better. So it was big time for a couple shots to go down. I had a couple big ones. Ace hit a couple big ones. So it was just big time for a couple shots to go down, to be honest.
They're gonna play that in the ETSU team tonight. So we still play hard when we don't make threes, Alex.
John?
John Hooper, Mid-Major Madness, coach. The first half looked like the game in Greenville, and the second half looked more like the 54 points that you scored at UNC Greensboro. What changed offensively about that at halftime?
Yeah, I mean they were trying to be really physical, and some things that a lot of teams have tried, different things to try to make it hard for him to access the basket. We were trying some different things. The pressure was bothering us in the first half, and to be honest with you, I mean, give credit to them because they were definitely pressuring us and they were being aggressive, but we were beating ourselves in a lot of ways too. We weren't enduring the possession enough to get quality looks, and we were settling. And when we got to halftime, we were 8 for 10 at the rim, 80%, pretty good there. We were 1 for 7 from 3, and we were 0 for 8 from the mid-range. So we were 1 for 15, anything outside the rim. And so I felt like we needed to try to open up the rim. And so in the second half, we played a lot more 5 out. And I thought that was pretty effective, just to try to open up the paint and played with a little bit more space on the floor. And, I thought these two got into a really good rhythm right there in the middle of the floor. And we got a couple lobs. Felt like we got 3 lobs there in the second half. And then, Alex hit some big threes. And then they were going in the zone look, but then switching out to man. And I thought we did a much better job in the last 10 minutes of just calling man action. And we hit some huge answer threes right there. Alex hit one at the top of the key there. We got one on a skip pass on one of our actions, trying to get a back cut and didn't get the back cut, but then Lex was wide open in the corner, I think, to put us up 6. So, it was more so we're gonna have to move the ball versus the pressure, and we're gonna have to get the ball side to side, and we just can't let this thing stay on the same part of the court. And I just felt like we just didn't seem to have much purpose and aggression to us first half, but good gracious, did it change. I mean, we basically scored twice as many points in the second half as we did in the first, and credit to these guys. I mean, these games, y'all know. I mean, I told the team today at team meeting, Sunday semis here. I mean, wars. I mean, just historically. I mean, you think about it. Classic basketball games, and we knew it was going to be a hard-fought game. Everybody wants to play in that championship game and have an opportunity to go cutting that down. So, we had to play much more desperate in the second half.
Time for one more front row here.
Cooper, to Coach's point a little bit about the second half, not only is the lob and dunk high percentage shot, but it seemed like in that first half there was just never a spark. You guys had the crowd advantage, but there's not anything to really cheer about too much. And I thought the lobs and the dunks and everything got everybody hyped. And it seems like it suits Furman better to play in a certain kind of tempo that you were able to get in after that than it does like UNCG. I think their tempo maybe preferred to be kind of slow and plodding a little bit where you guys kind of want to get going. Can you speak to what that did for you guys tonight?
Yeah, I think it's definitely advantageous for the players we have for us to play in transition, especially with a point guard as dynamic as Lex is, and shooters that can run the wings and I can run the rim and just get to early action, because their half-court defense was pretty incredible tonight. So we figured that our transition would be our best layer of offense tonight, and just trying to put pressure on the rim, and then they just pay so much attention to Lex, like he usually get behind the defense, and he always finds a way to get it up there, and I can just W. Yeah. And then of course you get stops, and that helps with running transition as well.
Well, Coach, thank you to you and your team. Appreciate it.
One more thing, just our fans. Thanks to our students tonight. I thought they did an unbelievable job. I thought our fans were great. There were a lot of people in the gym in that first game, and if you're watching this tonight in Greenville, we need you to get up here tomorrow, and we need to pack this place out, and it's an unbelievable opportunity tomorrow night, and we're looking forward to playing another night.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you and your players. Thank you.